Welcome to the Koori Knockout Podcast. We're back again for another week. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe right now on YouTube. You're watching us now, hit subscribe. It's just here or there. It's on one of these spots. Hit subscribe now. Make sure you don't miss out when we're dropping new ones, because this week we got Bowen with us all the way from Western Sydney, Blacktown's finest, joining us this week on the podcast. And we've got Tommy Tucker back again. How
Tommy
lucky
Tuck's
are
back.
we? Tommy Tuck's back.
All the way from Hot Tamworth. I'm going to say that. Hot Tamworth. Bring your water.
Bring your water. You're getting in early for the...
I'm telling you, Tamworth knockout. Bring your don't bring a jumper. You won't need a jumper. Just need thongs. Don't even need dancing shoes for Tamworth. You can get into pubs and anything you want to wear.
Well, it gets hot in Western Sydney though too.
It does, yeah.
It gets like sometimes here on the beach it might be 32. In Mount Druitt it's 39.
10 degrees hotter. Yeah.
And it feels it too.
Yeah, you can feel it.
So
yeah.
he's going to be primed and ready for Tamworth.
Are you going to be ready to rock
We
and
haven't even
roll?
got into the yarn yet, and it's already the hot tip, Blacktown, taking it out in Tamworth.
Don't bring your big fellas, bring your slim fellas, because you need the fast recovery. You need bring an extra weight, guys.
Yeah.
But tell us a bit about your knockout history, because
yeah.
you're an elder now, but
We've got to
you've
get to
been
that.
around for a very long time. It feels like you're not actually an old fella,
No.
but it feels like it because you've been around forever.
Yeah. I played my first knockout 05 at Henson Park. I was 18, I think.
05.
That year. And that year I played at the Yowies.
Really?
I got to run with the Yowies, yeah. Funny enough, I think he just took me boots. And Sean, who's with my sister, just said, bring your boots along and see what happens. And I think I was drinking the night before.
Good chance.
Yeah, because I wasn't playing, so I thought,
Only 18.
a few drinks with my mates, and I turned up a bit hungover, and I think they had someone pulled out, and he said, you'll have a run, like he's only a young kid, and I think I was a skinny centre back then, and they chucked me in the middle, got put in the middle, and but no, it was a good experience, like playing with them, being a night supporter, like. Playing with Tamana.
So he was there, yeah.
I think he was a Parrot at the time or something, but just the opportunity to play footy with him, sort of, experience I won't never forget. Yeah.
So they kicked off your front row career then.
Yeah. I got thrown in the middle.
What? And you didn't look back since?
Well, I've never had a choice. So
Is that when Sean was playing with them?
yeah.
I think I remember that knockout at Henson Park.
Yeah, I think we got to the Sunday night against Lapa.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure it ended up being about 6-4, but it was a bit of a brutal game. That game, it was. I remember the kick-off. I remember sitting on the bench and we kicked off to Lapa, and one of the front rows launched himself at the other front row, and I'm thinking, what do I get myself into here?
You could have been just playing with the kids on the hill.
Yeah, or just hung over at home, you know what I mean? So I watched that off the kick-off, and I think I got the last 5 minutes. We'd scored, so I had to go on for the kick-off, and they kicked.
And you was the middle.
I was the front row.
Ah, gee, that's hard axe.
Being 18 and not that big and experienced in the middle, I would have kicked it to me.
Yeah.
If I had the opportunity. So they kicked it to me, and I've done my best. And it was that introduction into the knockout where it sort of brought the best out of me. So it was hard, rough, and it was tough. That different footy back then. So
Did you run straight upright, or did you go in low as you could?
I think
Same
just
thing.
before the line, I sort of might have
And
ducked
half a
bit
step too with it?
Yeah, I don't know. I just closed my eyes.
Because where are you looking? Because I don't think people understand how daunting it is when you're standing at the back waiting for that kick-off and it's coming towards you.
Yeah.
Even as a
And
front
you
row,
see it
George.
up in the air and you look at it's only front rowers that take it off.
But
Wingers aren't taking it
even
off.
for you though, like how many times you had to do that?
There's that moment while it's hanging in the air and you see this line compressing up in front of you and it tightens up, and then suddenly you're looking up and there's 2 metre gaps between everyone, suddenly you've got 10 blokes in front of you with
no
nowhere
gap.
to run. There's no gap.
I'm telling you.
And you got to take medicine.
And knockout footy, it's probably one of the toughest hit-ups to take off a kick-off, especially the first one.
Yeah.
Anything within the first 5 minutes, or you've
if it's a
singled out hit,
And
run.
everyone's fresh,
if it's a rival game, they had a really good side. They ended up beating us, and I think they went through and played the Ron Merritt Patton team.
Oh, yes.
And obviously they go on and win 4 knockouts in a row. But yeah, that was my first sort of introduction into the knockout, but born into it from a young age with my grandmother starting Blacktown back, I think in 91. I was about 4. My dad was the captain and sort of, put the team together, and it was just an opportunity. They gave all the, blackfellas in Western Sydney that opportunity to be a part of a team. And back then, with less teams in the knockout, I think they didn't have probably a team to go home to. So sort of a rake together sort of team back then with all the players playing the Penrith comp, Parramatta comp. And they went through and competed each year at the knockout. And so I think that was my earliest memory, probably there in Erskineville Oval maybe.
Yeah.
Back then.
Geez.
Far out.
Yeah, running around on the sideline and, being the ball boy and stuff like that. So
That's cool. So you got a real strong affinity to that Blacktown team and that Blacktown community.
Your father's part of it.
yeah, so Dad he started with the team, and he was an old footy player, he was an old tough front rower as well.
Yeah.
So
Any uncles and that there to go with you?
yeah, I had some uncles in the team.
Yeah.
From mum's side and that, but it was
Back then, you usually only have about 5 people in the committee. Eh? Like, she's a really small little group. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You
I
get
think
your
it
little
still is
support
now
base. You
too.
start small, and look at this now. How long's it? Was that 19 what?
91.
91.
How was it for you being a ball boy for that team back then?
Oh, it was special. It was good. You do watch. You're on the sideline kicking the ball around, playing with your cousins, but you do sometimes watch what's going on, and it's different footy. I even knew back then compared to when watching Dad playing A-grade footy, in the Penrith comp and Parramatta comp. Like, it was something I always knew it was different, and you could always feel it. Walking into knockout, you can always feel it. You can't really sort of teach too many people how to feel that sort of feeling, but being born into it and being around it for so long, you feel it, and it was special. And then now, obviously, then going into playing and stuff like that. Then my nephew Sean was the ball boy, and now he's playing with me. So that's even more special. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
Was
he...
he the world's tallest ball boy, or when did he have his growth spurt?
He was he was always tall.
Had a
He's
beard
a
at
big boy.
12.
He's a big boy. He's 6'6", or his size 15 foot or something like that. Like, they bring him in on a ship, his shoes. But he's a big boy.
Big
He's
boy.
always been big, and he just hasn't stopped growing. So
Going back to that, being a young fella coming through at the knockout and being a part of your family side and walking into the knockout, the feeling, I try to get on this podcast to explain to what it means to people. You take it in your stride, and it's hard to articulate, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, you get in those sheds. For me, for the knockout, there's probably 50 things that are monumental. But going in, there's one part that I used to love is getting in the sheds and just watching fellas put their shoes and socks on, and you look around, you can smell a few things. Oh, who's got that? And you're together.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're that one team, and you just feel invincible. You think when you got, especially when you think you got a good side, you're ready to go, and I know you feel like Superman. You can just run out there and just give it all you can.
Yeah, 100%. But it's also special because it gives you that opportunity to play with family that you don't get to play with every year. Playing local footy or at sort of whatever level, but that you get that opportunity to come together once a year. And it's either one game or 2 or 3 games. So you got to you're making the most out of it as well, and the whole experience as well, and that's what I get out of it as well. It does become emotional. You get proud and stuff like that.
You're very proud.
Yeah, very proud. And like I said, the feeling, you can't really teach too many people the feeling of walking to a knockout and representing your community, your family, so.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, with when you get to those big knockouts, it's special, but you get to the smaller ones beforehand, and you get a taste of the 3-week preparation,
It
or
warms
the
you
2-week
into it,
pressure. Your juices start to flow, and it probably starts. It goes for about a good 2 or 3 months before the knockout. But as you get closer to that last month, the text messages, the Facebook, or you start getting these little messages that warms your blood up, and then you get to a Dubbo knockout or a Walgett knockout, and you get in around a bunch of boys, and it's fun. You're together for the first little knockout, and you might win a game. You don't really care about winning too many games, but you just want to get that game under your belt. And that's always a good special little lead up to the bigger one. And then you might go like Walgett, then you go to Dubbo, and then the big one. done, and that's when you look around at your brothers and
absolutely.
it warms you. Then you're ready to rock and roll.
You've had a run in that Dubbo knockout too, eh?
Yeah, a few times. Actually, it was my very first knockout was with wedgies up there.
Yeah.
I was 18 and I think it was pouring down rain. I remember being pretty cold and that was an interesting one as well. It was a big all-in brawl that broke out in that game and both benches come flying on the field and yeah.
Is that when Sean and Brett and Cochran come together?
Yeah.
And then a week later, Sean was playing with the same fellas who he was fighting against. That's when you made your debut.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was there watching it because I live in.
That was Newcastle Image.
Yeah, right.
They're the biggest. They're the biggest.
It was the biggest thing. To the point. It was to the point where it was pretty bad. Both benches. I got asked to actually go on for someone that was getting king hit. And I was standing in front of the Emus bench telling him to come off and they were starting to fight and I looked behind me and I'm thinking, if I run on you, you know, and then Sean ran on and all these players ran on and it erupted and then I sort of was pulling, as you do, you go to the back and pull lads off and I looked behind me and my sister's standing on the field in the middle of the field.
There's a couple of things about those knockouts. Like that's what it means to people. You get out there and you just take it so personal.
Oh yeah,
you want to win everything, and you lose track of what you try to play for sometimes, and it does become that big. And like no one condones any of this stuff, but this is the sort of side effects to a knockout. Like it just gets going.
Like you said, you play a couple of weeks in, you people go to the Wild Got One, people go to different knockouts into the lead up, and it sort of gets you in that sort of mode, doesn't it? Sort of thing. And for us, I think back when it was the Canberra knockouts were at Bulmanella Oval.
Yeah.
That was my first, going down those knockouts with Dad and in the bus with all the boys that all be playing. I was the only kid on the bus experiencing that sort of stuff and it rained a lot of the times down there.
Yes.
With those knockouts, from what I remember. But just that knockout season starting to happen at those times as well. And then our grandmother, she had the Blacktown knockout. Around those times back then as well, and so we'd have our little one and then go to Canberra.
So then now you run the Blacktown knockout leading up to the big one now too. How's that been?
It's been really good. We've had some really good teams come to us. Yowies come down and have been supporting us, which is really really good. And we've had Redfern, Waterloo, Hooper. Jade Hooper brought a young lads from Dubbo last year and. They beat Lapa first game, actually, I think, last year. So
a Radgery team, mate.
A little Radgery side. Yeah. They played really well, actually. So, yeah.
Is he still playing on the ladder or what, or is he to run them?
No, he played. He was playing, so.
One of the hardest little nuggety front rowers you ever seen. You can't drive him. I've seen some fellas launch at him, Joe.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll come from...
Let's talk about that for a minute. Like, talk about some of the great front rowers that you've battled with over the years. Who's been some of your favourite battles in the front row over the years?
I've played against you a few times. So I'd have to say yourself.
We've had some good ones.
We've had, that's probably right up there. Obviously, you played in the NRL and playing against, and you're testing yourself as a younger front rower, testing yourself against blokes like yourself that played in the NRL, and that's where you're sort of at knockout level. You want to play against the best and stuff like that, and people and guys that have won knockouts. And I remember playing against Dane Laurie.
Yeah,
that was a bit brutal.
I have to say, he's had to go one out for a lot of years. He was the enforcer for Blacktown for many years, and if I turn around, he never missed a knockout for Blacktown that I watched, and to his credit, he'd be the last one standing, and I sort of don't recognise him at the moment because he hasn't got a black eye. Every time I've watched him at a knockout, I reckon he's got a black eye after the first game. Yeah. What's going on there? Is it technique how you run, or do they have you pissed a few people off in your time? Or
I think it just comes with the position. I think you end up with the marks and bruises. So
maybe you just might have to get that number 3 back on your back there, not playing the front row like the early days. You could pass.
I think I'm too slow for that now. So
how do you go embracing that as having to put your hand up and be the bloke who takes all that heat in the middle? Because like Tom said, you've had to do it for a long time.
Yeah,
you performed at it really well too, I must say.
I think I just got used to just that role. I saw my dad do it for so long, and that was obviously inspiring. So, but to have him and watch him do that for so long, I sort of wanted that role, and you get that little bit older, not just as a front rower, but you get a little bit older and you start to play that role even more. And you start to become used to it and you know your job. And that's what we try to teach a lot of the lads, whether they're young, like my nephew, for an example, just to play your role and stick to your role and stuff like that. And but I think just as a front row, I think it just that's your role. Really.
It's been made for you because you come from Blacktown and obviously you've played with the other sides in your start of your career, but how long have you been playing for Blacktown now? Last 10, 15 years or something?
Since I was about 20, I think.
Yeah,
because those years there at Henson Park, we didn't really have a team.
Yeah.
Man was a bit too old.
And you've been through some name changes over the years too. What names you've gone through?
So the first name was Blacktown City Kooris.
Yeah.
So she incorporated that with Blacktown City.
That's a cool name.
Dad was playing for the time at Blacktown City. Used their jerseys and stuff. And then she ended up getting donations from Parramatta. So we ended up being Blacktown Koori for a bit. That's when Cliffy and players like that back then were playing with us. And then with that sort of breakthrough Henson Park days, when Rondell sort of put it back together again, we just changed it back to Blacktown Western Warriors at that time, and we ended up going to the David Peacher knockout when there was a split.
I
think Lismore.
I'll watch that one.
Yeah.
That was a good knockout.
Yeah, we went up there. And
we can talk about it.
It was a young side, actually. I think I was about 20 playing in the front row. A young team. I think Hooper played with us as well.
I think I played against him in the first game, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I played with Gugar's pacemakers first game. And Cody Towney was the centre, and he was an outstanding footballer at 20.
Yeah,
it was
Cody played. Yeah.
I said, who's this young blonde fella? He was just carving.
Quick, eh?
He was just bashing blokes. He was like a rubber band flying around everywhere on the field.
Yeah.
He was outstanding, eh?
Yeah, I think he was our fullback at the time, and he was 18 or something.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, he was fast.
So I said, who's this wonder playing from? I don't know this fella. Big Dad Paul Towney, blackest fella you ever seen, and a good footballer.
Yeah, so no, it was good opportunity.
We won the rep charge.
Yeah,
true.
I won the rep charge.
That was a good experience. Going up there, those couple of knockouts. I think it was a 2-day knockout back then. That one.
That's where Wilder went up at Lismore and got to the semis.
Yeah.
With a shoestring team, not many players.
Yeah, we made the final that year actually.
Yeah,
that first year against Burke.
Yeah, right.
So Walsh and that played with Burke and they put about 40 points on us. But it was just an experience, like, going up there as a young team, and we combined with a lot of our cousins from Cara. So Randy put a team in as well.
Yeah, the
so
Ingram boys.
All the Ingram boys and a few of the Williams lads come
Cameron,
over.
Good combination, really?
Yeah,
good.
So,
Big Will and all them fellas.
Yeah, Big Will and Pick and all that came over and put together a team, and you had a training session on the Friday night. And that was it. We got sort of stuck into it and made the final.
They stayed in the final for a while. And then the last 15 minutes they got out, they broke it because it went for 40 minutes each way.
Yeah. It was that ended up a night game as well on the Sunday night. So,
how was that?
Yeah, it was different.
Yeah.
At Apex there, like just playing those. I think we played about 4 games on the Sunday.
Yeah.
So I got to the 4th game, and we were young, and a lot of the boys had first knockout. They hadn't really played in the knockout before, and but I think we got through and stuck through it, and that little bit of experience with some of the boys from Cara and stuff like that come along. So it was, and then we went back the year after, and I think we made the semi-finals that year. So another little good team, but those were the couple of years I think that put that fire in our belly.
Yeah.
It was that sort of experience away from the big knockout, where obviously you got your bigger teams like yourselves and Yowies, and we're playing up there, and so for us it was a good little knockout to get away to and sort of start that, and kept us all together.
You've grown since then. And then, so when did obviously now you're a Blacktown Red Belly Warriors. How long's that one been around?
So after this, before COVID, we got beat first game and we were a bit sort of disheartened. We didn't know sort of what direction we were sort of going to go in, and I think the COVID time allowed us to reset. So we combined with the Red Bellies with the women's team, and a lot of those boys that played in the juniors that were coming up, they sort of really didn't have a team as well. And Big Toddy Counsellor, who coaches us, was a part of that as well. And Jason Pettit Young and middle cousin Aidan Pittman, we all sort of come together and had a yarn about it. And the women came over down the south coast and put our juniors together. It sort of allowed us to reset and to really figure out what direction and where we want to go. And that's where we come up with Blacktown Red Belly Warriors, and Just been trying to build since then.
Neat name.
You haven't mucked around since then.
Yeah, trying to get there. So yeah.
Well,
You have been well, and not only have you been competitive in the men's competition, but I think the scariest thing that everybody else needs to keep an eye on is what's going on in these junior ranks coming through. I think you're in a semi-final or final in
Each age
every age group.
Yeah, so we took six teams away. I think 5 out of the 6 made the finals.
You got some people working hard there with your, the juniors and keeping these players around and making sure you keep the numbers up. 'Cause it's hard to do.
No, and I think we counted about 125 players.
Wow.
In the club. all up.
That's a credit to you. That's hard to run.
It's not an easy job, but she does a good job. Don't tell her that though.
Sister.
No, that's on the record there now.
She does a good job. She knows what she's talking about, and
She's got the passion.
she's very, very, very passionate. She a lot of time and effort goes into not just our team in our club, but also our knockout. She works behind the scenes. She's got a full-time job. She's a full-time mum, and puts everything, her heart and soul into it. And we just go off the back of the planning on that sort of stuff. So
I think when one of the things when we talk about a lot of successful knockout teams, it doesn't go unnoticed that for every successful knockout team, behind the scenes, there's really good people working on organising the team and bringing everything together.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a big credit to yourself and your sister and everybody else involved.
Yeah.
Is that the success of the Blacktown Red Belly Warriors? It does filter back to what's going on behind the scenes to get everything together, because it's not a fucking easy job.
it is stressful.
And success means, you're making finals, quarterfinals, you're getting through to the third round every year.
I feel like success is just getting there, really, when you're
But,
organising a team.
I'm thinking
when
of
you
their
get there,
results, how
yeah.
good they've been, how consistent they've been for the last
Yeah.
few years. But I've watched this for years, even when I think he might have played against Walgett in Leichhardt. When you got beat. Is that the first round or second round?
It was second round, I think. Second
It
round.
was like it was only a 20. I think he might have played South Coast first game, and then these guys second game, and I think it was only like a 20-6 scoreline or something. And they're never easy games. And
We've crossed paths a lot. Haven't we?
yeah.
Times, yeah.
And obviously in the semi-finals, they've been, semi-finals is different. Like you can that is just a tough day to turn up and play football. You feel busted and bruised, and you got a couple of main fellas that are not. And they just can't perform at their peak. You're going to struggle. You know what I mean? But to get to the semi-finals is big, and you've done it 2 years in a row. And you got these, like you said, you got these 6 teams.
How's that been 4 years?
Yeah, the first year was sort of not come out of nowhere. Like, we prepared very well, and we had a good balance of, experienced blokes like, with Jake Foster, and been sticking around with us for, he's born and raised in Blacktown, and, we've all sort of stuck around together. So having that balance of the older lads with the new lads that are young coming in was sort of what the direction we're heading in. But heading in that Sunday afternoon, we knew NAB was in our draw, and I think what helped us, I feel, was the short turnaround. We had a very short turnaround after the second round there on the Sunday. So we sort of just went out there just to play to win. It wasn't really, we're playing NAB, or it's just another
You didn't have
game.
time to think?
We didn't have time to think. I think because it was so hot that
And
weekend,
didn't cool down either.
we didn't cool down. I don't even think we even sat down. We just sort of had a couple of ice baths and some water, and then we sort of regrouped again. And then it was like, well, we got to go again. So, but that was
Sunday's a hard day.
those
Sunday's a very hard day.
Bust. I've been a front rower as well.
Yeah.
I've got to dig into that. Like,
Yeah.
how does that? How much? A front rower, like the knockouts played in its forwards. Everyone loves the tries and everything, but it's won in the forwards. That's where the dirt is. That's where it's tough.
Yeah.
To be a front rower. How does a front rower turn around on the third game on the second day and say, "I've got to lead these boys," especially being the captain of the side? How do you just get your mindset? Do you just it's all heart, or you just experience and
mental? Sort of a mental game, isn't it? Really. You sort of got to be mentally up for it. Your body's busted. You're tired. You bumps and bruises. But I think mentally, it's just telling yourself that you got one more to go.
if you can give them that first 10 minutes to start with,
yeah,
lead them.
and you sort of, I feel maybe get your momentum all that sort of stuff, and it started the game. But in that game in particular, yeah, and then we had that celebration after beating Nabin, and obviously knowing we're coming up against you guys the next morning. I think it was just not even thinking about that. I think it was just getting back to recover. It was such a hot day. We hardly ate. You hardly eat. And
Nah.
You're living off nothing.
lack of sleep. You're drinking water all day. So I think for us, we just wanted to get back, scrub up, recover, and get to bed. And regroup again in the morning. And but big lesson was taught that year. I think it was a lesson I feel was probably what we needed. Maybe first time on the Monday and stuff like that. But we felt like we were a lot ready for it last year.
Yeah.
For that experience, and obviously we knew that you got those games beforehand. We don't like to get ahead of ourselves and feel like we're going to get there again.
You can't, can you?
You can't do it, regardless of the team you have.
Yeah.
You can have a great side, but if you're thinking Monday, you're not going to get past Sunday morning, really.
Well, But you got to feel the sense of achievement though when you make it into a semi. Like when you win that third game, I don't care anyone. I've never done it. I've seen teams like you've been going for 20 years to make it through to a Monday, and you finally did. Like it's a lot of weight off your shoulders. You got to be so proud.
Oh, it was a huge relief,
and hard to get up, and it would be hard to get up the next day.
Yeah,
because you've just done something really big.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, your body's. It's even hard to sleep. like I hardly slept.
It's hard.
You hardly sleep.
When you wake up the next day on a Monday, and I've asked George this a million times and Matt and them, and I know Trent, he just says he's just mind over matter. He's probably one of the best mind over matter fellas I've ever seen. He's tough, man. And George just gets bullied by Matt to keep running. And Matt just doesn't like losing, so they all have their own triggers. How do you wake up and think, far out, do we have to play football again today?
Yeah, and that third day.
Does your body just kill him?
It is, it's sore. But like with them, you got to be mentally up.
You're a leader. You're a leader.
You just got to push that aside and know that you got to go again. And obviously, you got your 30-minute halves.
Yeah.
So it then becomes that longer, a little bit longer. But you just got to be mentally up for it. And like I said, that lesson was learnt. It was a good experience. Like I remember before kickoff that first one, I was like, this is Monday,
that's cool.
Got it ready to go. I'm playing against one of the best teams, and obviously he's going to win it and then win it again. And so testing yourself against the best teams is where you want to be. Not just getting beat by a team that will probably get flogged the next round or something like that. And like you said, it is successful getting there.
Yeah,
you do feel that sense of it's been successful, but we've always been a team that does want to win.
How does it feel for you guys knowing that? So we obviously played you in the semis 2 years in a row, and then we go on and win the next game and win the knockout. To know that that we were
so close.
You get over us, and then knowing, because both of those games they were well in the balance for a long time. Yeah. A try goes your way rather than ours.
But last year's especially
changes everything. Yeah. How was it for you knowing that? Yeah. Had you got over us, then there's a good chance that you win it too.
Yeah, it's natural to think it.
Yeah.
After even last year, it's natural to think it coming so well and doing so what we did, and then seeing you going on to win it, and you think, it's your determination. It's your determination, though, isn't it? Now, it's your determination now. It does. Yeah, it keeps the fire on the belly. Just determination, and then you hear people. You get home, and we all sort of caught up after, and people sort of walk up after you and say, "Oh, bro, if you get through, the possibility that you could go all the way," and that's not taking nothing away from Nanima or anything like that. It's just,
Well, but there's the thought there.
But if you get to the grand final, that means you're a chance to win it.
You got 100% chance of getting there. Obviously, but then getting beat from the team that won it the last 2 years as well. You do think about it.
Yeah.
Well, I found it a couple of times there in that game when these fellas are coming in. The scoreline's probably 8 points or something. I'm going, if they score you, they could come home enough time for them to have the momentum to come home and score again, because that's how quickly you can turn. We've seen it many years, Wild could hang in there on that line, defend, and they look short out wide, but somehow they stop it. And then they score another try, and they get comfortable in the lead again. But then you just keep putting the pressure on. You're so close. You're just so close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, last year in particular, I remember at half time, I spoke to him at half time, and we had a lot of ball. We had a lot of things go our way in that first half.
Yeah.
We were attacking your line a lot and just kept holding us out.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it was that close to breaking it. If we didn't get the try to go our way, we had so many opportunities and you weren't breaking. And that's the type of thing that can really hurt you. If you just turned around and score on us, that's the type of thing that could break us.
It's a big
because we threw
momentum
everything
change.
at you, and it didn't happen. But I mean, I was nervous at halftime. I'll be honest, I was very nervous at halftime.
It was a good game of football.
Because of how many opportunities we had that we couldn't capitalise on.
Yeah, sure.
I thought if these fellas get some ball on our end, we could be fucked.
I thought if they scored his try, the boy, and it was It's so easy the games can go. Like you never a sure thing. You know, we've seen it for many years in the grand finals, and you're either one try away from really giving you that buffer, or one try staying in.
Too, isn't it? Really, like you're saying, it can turn. You know, you can defend your line 3 or 4 times, and you could get the ball back and create momentum again.
Yeah,
and it can just turn. You know, so I think for us, we just tried to hold that and. With our defence, obviously, you know, it's just a tough team to defend against. But, you know.
I think we've revved you up again to come back and make them semis and turn into grand finals, I reckon.
There's no
I'm trying
doubt.
to encourage you.
There's no doubt that these fellas are going to be
I
in
like
the mix.
it. I like what I see.
Not only this year, but for the next 10 years.
You
I
like
said,
what you say?
Them juniors that are coming through, the fact they're in the semi-finals or finals of every age group, it's scary to know that this is what they've got coming through, because your side now is you've got a lot of young talent in that men's team.
Yeah, well, the last few years we've blooded our 17s.
Yeah.
A few of the boys. So boys like Elijah, Pettit Young, Sean, Cody, Kobe Walsh, Jermaine McEwen.
Yeah.
Another one of my other little cousins. So blooding those boys in, it just allows them to have that.
They're footballers too. They're not just.
They're not passengers.
They're good footballers. They're knockout footballers.
Absolutely they are. And they've now become that leadership in the side as well. They're not just sort of sitting back and not really saying much.
They're trying to win.
At the start, they sort of find their way in the squad, and but now they turn up the training and talking to the boys and having a laugh and that sort of stuff, and in camp doing the same sort of thing. And we had another lad, Colin Lewis. He came in from the 17s last year, so that's a sort of a little tradition we're trying to sort of keep, which is why we've got the juniors as well. So yeah, it's just trying to get them in and getting around them and having that knockout feel.
There's not a lot that are doing it right like that though.
Yeah, I was going to say
a lot of really good teams that I think that they haven't blooded enough of their young fellas to keep that momentum going. But I think that's one thing that you're obviously doing really well, and that progression's going to only keep going over these next few years.
We had 2 17s actually play 17s and then play with
and
us.
Then back up.
And backed up for us.
Jeez, there must be good players. They played the semi-final in the men's comp.
One of them actually, he was in the middle. One of the lads, young Cooper Flood, he's in the Penrith system.
You may as well take advantage of what you got there. You got the backyard, there's plenty of footballers there, and you have strong comps for these kids to play in.
Yeah.
And that allows you to keep developing these teams and keep putting these teams in every year. And your men's, you turn over these young fellas into the men's team when maybe 1 or 2 drop out.
The squad's always change.
Yeah.
You're never going to have the exact same 25 as you did the year before. There's always something that happens, and it just allows us to be able to do that as well with our 17s. And it's mad.
But do you understand that the front rowers are never allowed to retire until they're about 45, and then they still won't retire? But you at least got four more or 5 years.
I'll get told I'm not allowed to just yet. So.
No, you're not allowed. But then, and when you get told you're not allowed to play, you still won't want to retire. It'll be the catch-22.
Well, I feel like a lot of the time you don't think you're old either until people start making you start telling you that you're old.
Talking about that.
Now, what happened with you out at the Dubbo knockout?
With the team of the boys out there.
We got a phone call earlier.
Yeah, all calling me uncle. At training there, turn up and we had a little ball work session. They're all calling me uncle. I was thinking, call me uncle.
I'm just saying.
I'm only 37. You know?
Call me cuz, call me bread.
Yeah,
Didn't you score a try or something?
I ended up scoring the first try and
Of your
got
marriage
around
kick?
uncle, good try, uncle. And I was like,
How do you keep focus on the footy field? You're playing to go, don't say uncle.
I was always used to one bloke calling me, Sean calling me uncle. Now they're calling me uncle. So yeah, I didn't know how to take it. I was just,
It's a hard one, Because it's a sign of respect, but you also I don't want to be called uncle.
Junior elder.
Nah.
I feel
Apprentice elder.
fresh.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Well, get to 46, you'll be right. I'm getting close now.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Go on, Unc. Go hit up, Unc.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now you've got, like we've talked about the quality of your squad. You've got a lot of great young players. You've got some talent that's been around there for a long time. Who's one of the biggest pests in the team, and why is he a pest?
That'd have to be Jared Semmett. he's been pestering me since we were kids. Every year he comes back, and when he does come back, with his stupid Pommy accent, he just torments the guts. He'd be on the plane texting me, telling me he's jumping ship, and
Did he play games with you?
He's playing games with me, and then he's got other blokes in on it as well on the same joke, and I'm back here stressing out. I'm calling Rondell I don't want to deal with him. I'm not dealing with him this year because get off the plane. I'll knock
Does he
him
get
out
you
or
grizzly, does he?
yeah, he gets under, because he knows that he gets under my skin. He knows how to do it. And,
Gets a bite out of you.
yeah, and he's full ADHD and all sorts of stuff. So he and then we get into camp and he doesn't stop. You know, he comes in my room and does things and used to do things in my bag and
He just misses you.
yeah, he's all over there in the UK and
He misses
he does miss it. Yeah, if he's not back, he'll video call us when he's over there and sort of gets a bit of FOMO while he's away. But
Yeah.
he's a pest.
Is he
Yeah.
is he UK permanent resident now or what? What's he doing?
Oh, he should be. He's been there long enough.
Is he playing? What's he still playing at? What's he? All the lower grades in Super League.
Yeah, in the lower grades
He's,
and that. Yeah.
he's like 38 or something.
We're
Isn't
the
he?
same age, yeah, 37, yeah. So he's just
37.
38, yeah.
He's
so
still playing decent footy.
still playing. He's still fit as a fiddle. Still trains every day and
He's-
yeah.
He'd cut up them reserve grade teams over there easy, I reckon.
He was telling me that he was sort of going to throw it away over there, but he can't help himself, so he's signed with another club. I don't
They're
know.
probably
if
just giving him a
Nah,
good
while he
life.
can do it, he may as well keep going, eh?
Yeah, well, that's my thing. I think I'm still playing at A grade comp at Windsor, and I think while I can still physically play, like why not? You know, I'm still enjoying it, and you know,
That's pretty solid though that you're playing in that comp.
37,
Like,
eh?
we talk about the quality. Like Newcastle comp's a very good comp. They've got a great A grade comp up there. That Penrith competition
Yeah.
is a very, very good competition. I mean, the junior base that feeds into Penrith, we see that with the success of the Penrith Panthers.
Yeah.
But that A grade comp,
Yeah,
you've got a
it's-
hell of a lot of good players in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that come back from the Massey and the Shield. They sort of get enough of the commitment and come back and you know, a couple of years ago, I think we had Sam McKendry playing against us.
Yeah, right.
Front rower and playing out there in enemy planes. Like, you know, you get some quality players coming back and they fit and that sort of makes the rest of their squad. There's not just a one out bloke. They're building their squads out there and we're one of them as well. Like, you know, we're trying to be successful as well. And but yeah, it's a good club and
No slouches.
nah.
Because the comp's
be
pretty
fit out
tough
there?
though.
It's
Too,
a
they
comp.
play tough footy. I remember
Yeah.
when I first come down to Sydney, I cut my teeth out there at Colleton Colts.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I had a couple of runs with the Colts, but one thing that I remember is I was an 18-year-old kid. First run I had, this big fella just come across, just clocked me across the
Yeah.
chin. I thought, well, this reminded me of knockout football. It got me all excited for it. I think I had there was a couple of black fellas in the team too. Robbie Addo was playing, and he was a weapon.
Yeah, he was one of the best. He was one of those players back with Dad playing in those old Blacktown teams, and we got a chance to play with Robbie as well and playing A grade footy and stuff like that. So he was, like you said, one of the best. And blokes like old Tricky Craig.
Yeah,
He
wow.
was, by far sort of.
He good in that fella.
Yeah, he's one of the best, and he sort of you can't take that away from him. He's
Good footballer.
definitely.
Well, he showed the knockout for every year he played, and he played around like Southwest Metro and Blacktown and all these sort of Western Sydney teams. If you had him in your side, you're getting close to the semis every year.
Yeah.
He was just.
He's probably. I played at Windsor there with him years ago, and he was probably one of the only players I've seen play A grade, Jim Beam Cup and New South Wales Cup in the 1 year. Well,
Yeah.
come through. I don't know why he came through with us. I don't think he did a pre-season or something, but he came through with us, played a few games, and ended up in New South Wales Cup that year.
When he debuted with Penrith,
He's a freak.
old,
He's a freak.
38, 28 or something, 29.
yeah,
he's pretty-
a bit older. Yeah.
He was a good player.
Those are the lads who I sort of watched growing up. Tricky.
Actually, young Maurice was really good.
Yeah, that's his boy.
That's
yeah.
who stood out for me when we played just in the first semi.
Yeah.
He's tough through the middle.
tough.
As a hooker, as a smaller bloke in the middle,
Yeah.
he was tough as.
He's very fit. Yeah, very very fit. He's out there playing I think Ron Massey with the Penrith brothers side under Jake. Jake's the coach out there. So
Yeah, right.
They're all out there playing together. And
Yeah, the little
so-
prick shot up out of the line at me when I took my first run there against us. He shot up out of the line. I shit myself. But he's only a hooker. But he
got under you?
puts his body on the line. Yeah.
Body on body.
Yeah.
He's a tough lad, yeah. So,
There's
That's the sort of fellas you want in your team, though. Like that's why you got him there.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Now, you've touched on a few throughout the yarn, but who's the fellas who inspired you? Who's the fellas that you loved watching play when you were a younger fella?
Yeah, my dad's right up there. I got an opportunity to play with my dad my first year in A grade, and I was 17. He
That's
was,
cool.
He was
Mate.
45 or something like that. So I was a young centre.
Don't look at me and say 45. I know you're being nice.
But yeah, Robbie Addo was another one. Robbie was one of the local sort of legends out there with Tricky as well, and winning grand finals out that way. And
Yeah.
they all sort of played up and down and in the systems and stuff like that. So seeing all those lads out there, they were pretty inspiring. Sitting on the sideline watching them every week, and then watching them play in the knockout with Dad. So
Nothing beat those memories, eh?
nah, that's why you want to play footy. Really, it's on the sideline watching those guys, seeing how sort of tough they were.
Yeah.
It was obviously different footy back then in the 90s and the early thousands, and that was different compared to now. But that was just sitting back, and I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Play footy like them, and wanted to play with them as well. So
Blueprint was there. The blueprint was there. Your dad
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
took after him, and
he's an old tough front rower.
you old school front row.
Not me, no.
Well, I think you are. You're a good old tough front row.
not-
Not old. Can't say that. Sorry. Can we say?
Old uncle, but he was definitely very, very tough, and I wish I was as hard and tough as him. But try to be as that sort of guy in the squad as well. Obviously having that opportunity to play with my nephew and trying to have that impact and influence on him as well, as still a young lad, even though he's a giant. But
He's huge.
he's a
I honestly, every time I see him, I just think he's huge.
He's only 20, isn't he?
He's
19.
21 this year.
21.
Yeah, so his birthday's on the long weekend though.
Yeah,
On
right.
the knockout every year.
So
So
you've got to keep him off the grog then for the knockout.
yeah, got a couple of weeks before, but he eats like a horse.
Big man. Wait till he's finished growing and
I
gets his
think that
body in the right.
he's one of them standouts, I think he's going to be a very good knockout player and have a very.
Absolutely, you got to play as a player.
He's going to be hard to handle.
He was very inspiring. And it was inspiring me is because he'd take a big kid up, and I'd want to do the or
yeah.
he'd, have a couple of good tackles, and I'd want to do the same. And so, but that's what those younger guys always have that influence on. When you're sort of the older lad in the team,
Pump you up.
They pump you up.
They make you feel young though too. They keep your energy.
They make you feel young, but they also keep you accountable. As
Yeah.
well in that sort of in those games. So all those lads are.
Well, that's how what George used to do to us in training. We used to have to try to keep up with the boys, They'd just come in, and George played first grade. He played knockout when he was 17 for us, front row.
Yeah.
And we thought, if he can do that, we have to have a go too. He said, put me in the wing. Said, no front rowers turned up. You're playing 8 this week.
wish I
First
started-
knockout there.
I wish I started
First
the wing,
knockout at Armadale, Joe.
Yeah, straight in.
Oh, I know, yeah.
That was a good one. That was a real good one.
They sunk old cuz off the kick-off. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it. Him and Ted, there was a good game anyway. First game we played, We've talked about it in previous games, knockout podcast, but
Yeah.
to be that young fella on the side, mate,
Yeah.
sometimes they lead the show and you got to follow them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of young fellas, who's the ones to watch now for Blacktown?
We've got a few. Obviously, boys like me, my nephew, young Kobe Walsh is another one that sort of stands out for me. He missed last year with a bad knee. Young Colin Laws, he's a little front rower, 18 years old, and come off the bench and didn't care. He had that.
You love that, eh?
He was playing like he'd played in the knockout the last 4 or 5 years. And there was another one, Cooper Flood. He was another 70s in part of the Penrith system as well, coming through. And we do have some juniors there in our 17s that are coming up through the same thing with the systems and the Penrith system. So
In good stead.
yeah.
I'm telling you, they're the ones to watch.
I've been watching them for a while. I like watching them. They're good.
A young Tyron Pettit, he
Yeah.
missed last year. bung knee last year, but he was mate. He's 4 foot tall, but he's tough as nails. He'd be one of the toughest in the squad. But
4 foot tall.
He's not. There's not much of him, but he's tough. And
He's got a mix. One bloke's 4 foot, one's 8 foot. They got a good mixture.
Jeez, if you see red ankles and big bloody shawnies up top, he's going to get lifted.
he's only tiny, young Tyron, but no, he's a big art. So
Yeah.
So when he's around, he's also very inspiring to have as well in the squad.
Who do you reckon is the team to watch this year at the knockout? Other than yourselves, obviously.
I feel besides even you guys being back to back, I think the Tweed team, like they're you sort of watch them. They're a big side.
Yeah.
I think they're a big side across the park as well. Like
Yeah.
they've got some big centres and outside backs.
They've got the old school knockout football too.
Yeah.
They throw it around. They've got a bit of Kempsey flavour,
Yeah.
the Cabo flavour. They've got a bit
Well,
of
even-
they've got the mixture from.
Yeah.
Because that's
a
all
mixed
they're more.
grill, eh?
Mixed grill.
Yeah. Even the Cabots teams are always good sides.
Oh, we love watching
They're
them.
always good teams and very tough. Then obviously you got your big wigs like your NABs, your Wax, Yowies. Come up against teams like that.
Goog's coming back this year too, I think.
Goog's back.
Yeah, I think Goog's coming back. So you never know with Claudia and the boys.
Yeah,
What they're going to bring through. They're always competitive, man. Big time.
Always the unknown though.
100%.
You just never know.
Don't you love going to the knockout and one team just comes out from nowhere and they're playing mad? Like it
Yeah.
freshens it right up again, you know.
Absolutely, yeah, it does.
Tweed's done that.
Yeah.
I think Tweed,
Tweed.
the last 2 years have
Well,
done
even
it.
Blacktown, though, too.
Yeah, and Blacktown. Well,
Tweed.
Yeah. I thought LARP had a really good side last year.
oh, that's
Harper
good side.
always good.
They
Burke?
were really solid.
Yeah.
And I thought they were very unlucky
Yeah.
against Burke. So you never know what happens.
Burke's another one, though.
You never know
so-
what happens if they, get
Look at the way
make a
they
few
lost
as well.
against Burke with the freaky try.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
You know?
that was unreal.
I was going between both games. I was
too.
I was whoring myself out. That word again. Sorry, viewers. I got George by surprise last potty.
All right. Over the years, who's been one of your favourite players to play with?
To play with, there's been a few. I'd have to say still right up there would be my nephew, and because it's special.
Yeah.
It's special, and like he's not a passenger, and he can definitely hold his own. He's one that I really love sort of playing footy with him. Him being my back row, I'm the front row, so we like to link up a lot and stuff like that. Jared's another one. Guys like him. We've grown up together as kids and coming up through those younger years together and starting off. And I never got to play in knockout with my dad. It was something I wanted to do, but did not get that opportunity. But yeah, just the current group is very special. And like I've mentioned, guys like Elijah Pettit-Young, Tyron Pettit-Young, Dono Boney, Warren Smith, our two halves last year, like playing with those younger guys and seeing how they held their own in that semi-final, it sort of makes me a little bit excited to see what's ahead for us as well. So,
Only good things ahead.
yeah, that's right, yeah.
So what are we going to see from Blacktown Red Belly Warriors in Tamworth 2025?
Hopefully the same sort of success. We'll work hard again. We sort of get together. I think, try and keep it. It's hard to keep the same 25.
Yeah.
And obviously you try to bring that, X factor or someone in a little bit different that if there's a spot available. But I think, you'll probably see majority of those faces in the squad. Hopefully.
Well, you got the development there, so you're not reaching out too far.
Yeah.
Wow.
But in order to maybe go that next step, one step further, you might
Yeah, absolutely.
just jag one player.
Yeah.
Just one, another tough young front row.
They already got them
player.
there. They're
But
only going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
Oh, this tough young one here.
He's a young one here.
You know what I mean? Another bloke that's going to come in like Sean and put the socks on and say, "Come on, boys, we're going to win this."
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
That's the fella you want.
No, it's a
the
special
leaders.
group, very special group, and
Get me fired up.
yeah, I actually watched one of the game from last year. I couldn't watch. I got to half time. I was like, I'm getting itchy feet. I can't watch it, because there's no footy. There's still no footy.
Yeah.
Trials and all that sort of stuff haven't started. So
It was a good game.
it was a really good game, and it's a good game to watch as well. Even
Yeah.
though obviously we're on the back end of it, but it's where you sort of learn from it as
I got
well.
the goosebumps here now.
Yeah.
I know, George. I don't know about you. Sorry to cut in, but just talking about the knockout and having fellas like yourself who have been around for a long time, you can feel the knockout. You can feel the passion. You can feel what it means. You you start
Absolutely.
trembling in your voice when you talk about it. You know, it's if it was tomorrow, you'd be ready to go.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like we don't, we have a lot of these
feel
podcasts.
I need to do a few runs.
No, well, you got the runs. Or do a few runs.
Stretched up. Yeah.
But you know, like it's just that's what brings you back to doing these podcasts, and you know, that's what I love. I love to see you know you got the shoulders going with the chat, you know, like
I've watched them all. It's good to watch. You see different experiences from different people, and what they sort of say with their own experiences.
Yeah.
And obviously with guys that have played NRL or won a knockout, like it's really good to hear their story. Even though they've probably even won a knockout, but they've got that first great experience. It's good to hear from their perspectives as well of what their experiences are. But obviously in how to try to win one, I guess. So
Yeah, well, even your story about your longevity in playing in the front row, knockouts over this long, like it's
I don't
it's
think
not
he's
an
ever
easy
won that
task.
number.
No,
it's not an easy task.
yeah, you've got to be up for it, and mentally you got to be tough.
I'm
for
feeling
it,
you. I'm feeling your desire and your passion. Just sit next to you. It's unreal, bro.
Yeah.
No, well, I reckon you'll be up for it this year, and I think it's great what you're doing out there with Blacktown Red Belly Warriors. It's a credit to you, your sister, your family, and everyone involved.
Yep.
And I think that there's a lot of good things coming ahead for you. So, thanks for joining us on the
thanks for having
podcast
me.
today.
Appreciate it.
I love it.
Awesome.
We really appreciate you giving us the time.
Thanks,
and,
brother.
Look forward to seeing you at Tamworth 2025.
Yeah,
If you need anything, come and see me. I'll get you extra water, ice, whatever.
He makes a good curry too, Tom.
Yeah, I can cook good feed. It costs them. I have to charge people
if we
this
can
year.
see them?
Yeah, Brad. Anytime.
All right. Well, thanks for joining
thank
us.
you.
Thanks for tuning into the Knockout Podcast. We'll see you again next week.